That's my fault.
That was the inside of his colon.
That's the inside of. Some people would say it's the inside of my heart. Black and.
I thought it was inside of the Sarlacc pit's colon. The Sarlacc's colon.
I was going to. I mean, you know what? Let's just do it for good old time's sake. You know. Yep, good old time's sake. Nothing like a good Sarlacc pit Phantom Zone.
On the same token,
come on, Boba, I'll be out too.
Chris to Boomer.
I'll be out too, Boba. Come on, Boba.
Sure. It would not be one of my shows if I didn't boomer it. So, anyways, all right. We're going to do something a little different really quick because Shell's having intermittent issues, kind of. So, we're going to ask him to introduce himself really quick, give us what he liked, what he didn't like, or his overall thoughts, what he liked, what he didn't like, and give us a final grade. And you don't have to elaborate necessarily, but because if you're still around, we can elaborate as we go along. But if you want to give people your overall thoughts and all that, go ahead, Shell. Tell them who you are and pimp out whoever you want, and then tell us all you got about the show.
Well, if you can hear me, okay. For those who don't know me, I'm Showback TJC. Been, as the saying goes, I've been an up-and-coming YouTuber for like 3 years. But anyway, like I said before, I can appreciate showing different aspects of people and things, you know, because I don't think any one thing is a monolith. But having a depressed Rancor, you know, yes, animals get depressed just like we do, but it would have been a little bit more accurate, believable, whatever you want to say, is if the Rancor would have been in like an agitated state, like, hey, this is a new place, I don't know what's going on, stay away from me, you know, type of thing, you know, like a lot of animals do. I mean, the freaking the memes about the I call them the Jolly Rancher scooter crew. You know, because that's what it looks like. It looks like they're each, you know, they each hopped on a giant Jolly Rancher and, you know, putting around freaking Mos Espa.
I call them the mighty moped rangers.
You know, and they're
there's a reason for that.
You know, they're like, you know, they're on Tatooine. Okay, everything is grungy in Tatooine. Okay, even Jabba the Hutt's freaking sail barge didn't look as spiffy as their scooters did, and Jabba had a hell of a lot more money than they do apparently, since they have to steal water. But why do they have to steal water when they have these freaking shiny ass freaking 1200 mirrors and on their freaking handlebars scooters? It's just, I don't know, but you know, there's a couple things I can appreciate, you know, a couple of the fight scenes, but you know, overall this is like, you know, a D- bordering on a failure. So that's about all I got to say about the episode.
All right. Since you got through that, by all means, once we go around with the, you know, overall thoughts and all that, we'll give you some more time to expand on that. But let's go around really quick to the rest of you and have you talk about your channels really quick. Guys, Scar, I'll start with you. Go ahead.
The Basco Scenario, catch my show, The Hangout, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Also, random gaming streams, Call of Duty Warzone, one of the most shittiest, but only decent Battle Royale game out there right now. So, unfortunately, yeah, putting up with that. And sure, that's where you can catch me.
Okay, very good. Dandelion, tell everybody about yourself, please.
I'm Dandelion Fluff. I don't really have a channel, so subscribe to all these other people.
Okay, very good. Jason, go ahead and tell everybody about yourself, please.
What's going on, guys? Jason Lee Tucker. Jason Lee Tucker statement. Talk about independent wrestling, pop culture, different things. Check out the channel. Chris, thank you for letting me come on tonight. Appreciate it.
No problem. Number one, go ahead and tell everybody about yourself.
All right. Yeah, you can catch me on my channel, number one. I guess when I sound a lot better, I'll get back to streaming. But yeah.
Okay. And last but not least, Mr. Elihu Who or Boba Who on this show. Go ahead and tell everybody about yourself, please.
Well, this is not audition for micro machines and recipe mean grammar. I talk slow this time. I am Elihu Who, and I have a show on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern time called What's Up with the Universe, where I talk astronomy, astrophysics. We zoom into the universe like Jason zooming into his camera.
Interesting. Okay. I'm Chris Knight. The Real Review 3000 is my channel. Don't forget, though, Chaos Central, this one where you're watching it. If you haven't subbed yet, please sub to this. Also, don't forget, I have a website, or we have a website. This channel has a website. It's called chaoscentral.com. Go figure. You know, I try to keep things simple.
OnlyFans.
Well, let me. No, I haven't started that one yet. I have to.
Oh wait, the Austin's got a click on password. That's right.
Yes, exactly. But if you are somebody who likes to write or review music, movies, anything like that, and you don't have any place to put it up, talk to me. We're looking for writers and people who want to review movies and stuff for that website, and just talk to me on the DM at ChrisKnight5150. That's my Twitter handle. Or you can email me at ChrisKnight5150 or ChrisKnight at The Real Review 3000. Chaos Central, a lot of this stuff, info.chaoscentral. There's lots of different emails you can reach me at. But anyways, let's get to this, guys. Geisgar, overall thoughts.
Clusterfuck? Nah, I'm being too harsh. Honestly, it was just it was sporadic. It was everywhere. Like I didn't hate the episode, but it fell flat of my expectations.
And anything else?
You weren't being too harsh.
Okay. Dandelion, overall thoughts.
Overall thoughts. Sort of like a warm, dealcoholized beer. You know?
You?
It's been sitting out in the sun. The last little bit of alcohol that was left in there is like evaporated, and it's all tepid. And it's still beer, so it's, you know, it's got that going for it.
It's a beer that's been on your shelf overnight, right?
Well, I was thinking it's sitting out on the deck overnight, you know, and it might have some bugs in there or something.
Oh, protein. Wanting protein. Yummy.
Sitting out there in the hot sun for all day in 100-degree weather.
All right. Okay. Jason.
Letdown. Compared to last week's, very major letdown.
Okay. Number one.
About as terrible as my voice sounds right now, basically.
Okay. And Elihu?
Wow, I'm a good fan of Zone. I liked it.
Okay. Very good. My overall thoughts are there are issues with this. I will go into them. But I didn't hate it. So there are some good things that this episode did, and then there are some things that were done wrong. And I don't necessarily think that I'm going to put those in the I didn't like column as much as like last week. They bother me, and they need to be fixed, but they weren't necessarily like going to kill this show. And I'll get into that later. All right, let's get to what we liked about it. Geisgar, let's start with you.
Machete.
Okay.
You know what? I liked. I mean, it started off well. You know, it started off well. I like what we got in the beginning. It's just, why let him go? You know, that fight was ridiculous. It's like, we all know Boba would have died. if it kept to if it kept to like stuff we know. But again, that's EU, right? We're being introduced to these customers. We have to have that disconnect again. But it goes to the typical of, you know, Filoni and I got a blank on his name right now. Favreau, just taking what they want and molding it to their liking. And I don't think they did the fans a favor with this episode, right? I know there's fans that liked it, but people that know some content of this, they could have done it so differently, would have made more sense. So that's the whole episode with this. The only thing I liked about it was the interaction with the Rancor and the whole thing that it really intrigues me what's going to happen with that. And that's pretty much about it. It's not much positives in this one.
All right, very good. Dandelion.
I thought the art in those end credits was beautiful.
Oh my god!
I thought the Rancor was pretty cute.
Okay, at least you're going further. I was wondering where comics division was in my last one. It seems like he grew some female parts and decided to jump over here with the way you said.
I just, you know, I make the Rancor because it's a Rancor, and the only other like Star Wars book that I read was one where they find the world where the Rancors are from, and Luke is like, it was. I have a copy, but so I kind of liked the Rancor being there. So I've kind of always known the Rancors weren't like evil or bad or just monsters or whatever. So I thought it was really sad that they just killed off like all of the Tuscan Raiders. Like it wasn't even like you could see that a few of them had wandered off or escaped or something, which maybe they did, who knows, but I thought that was a really like slamming into a wall way to kind of end that part of the story. Like obviously there's more to that story, but it just seemed really, I don't know, the episode just really didn't like fall together well for me. So here I am talking about things I don't like in the section, and we're talking about things we do like. Wait till we get to the section where I don't like stuff. Okay. You know, I guess that's probably about it. I liked the art in the end credits, and I thought the Rancor was adorable.
Could I add something that I did like? I did like the cinematography of it. You know, the capture of Tatooine, the Toad. I liked all that stuff because that made it feel like Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know, that I have to add that. Thanks, Chris.
Okay, very good. All right. Okay, let's move everybody around because I think we lost Shell. So
we lost Shell, and I'm always last, so remember that.
But they're on. I'm trying to figure out what planet.
Which book is it?
I'm like the poor guy.
It's called The Courtship of Princess Leia, but it's actually a big chunk of it's about Luke on some other planet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was the one right after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like a fan. So. It's like a fan. Like it's just like a.
No, that's Legends. No.
It's EU. It's original EU, but it's again not canon because that's something George Lucas and all them didn't allow. So whatever.
I can't remember. Anyway, I'd have to look it up. I'd have to like actually find it. If I can find it for next week, I'll find it for next week. I'm not going to look for it right now though. It's nothing obvious.
All right, Jason.
Well, right before Vasco said it, the cinematography of the Tatooine, the Toad. I was going to mention the Toad, but he just mentioned it. Sort of a recall of the Return of the Jedi with the Toad right there outside of Jabba's palace, eating the bug or something. Besides that, I like the part with the ships coming in, with the pikes coming in, and different things. It was just the whole episode to me was messed up. I mean, not much else besides that.
No, that was good. The pike thing too.
Mm-hmm. That's about it.
Okay. All right. Number one.
Yeah. Pretty much just Danny Trejo, Machete, Man, core keeper. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. And Elihu?
Well, kind of like what you said, there were parts about it that I liked and parts about it that I didn't like. Like, I did like the Bomar Monk callback from the books at the opening sequence. I like that. And we actually found out that Bib Fortuna was actually the figurehead, why he was there. They actually explained it. I'm like, thank you for that closure. Why the hell was he there? What was his position? I did enjoy the Stephen Root cameo. But when he was complaining about people taking all this stuff, I wanted him to say, I want to get my stapler back. Let's see. What else? The Cyberpunk Street Gang. I love the 80s callback from London Mob and Rockers Group. I love that. I mean, people call it Power Rangers. Like, no. It's Star Wars stuff with the 80s stuff. You guys realize the hairstyles, the fashions, the electronic equipment, all this stuff is reminiscent of the 80s when Star Wars came out. Do what?
Take another toke.
I'm smoking a cigarette, dude. It's early, okay? No, I actually love that stuff. What else was there? After the fight with the Wookie, when he grabbed him, I love that part. But after the fight, he told what's her name to take the guard and use his Baka tank. He's like, okay, this is humble leader. He could have just let him heal up on himself, but he's like, no, I'm taking care of my own. I like that part. He showed, he's like, hey, inner clan, this is who I am. More trusting for his inner clan. Let's see what else I like about this thing. Oh yeah, I like the closed caption when he was getting tossed around. You see the closed caption goes, pig squeal. Watch that closed caption, by the way. I did like the Danny Trejo cameo. That was pretty good. Let's see. After the speeder race, one other thing I liked after the speeder race, when Boba Fett was talking to the guy with the eyepiece, he apologized for calling him a cyborg. I'm like, why would a leader apologize to one of his lower gang members? He was showing them he's actually the leader of the people. I like the interaction there. This is some of the stuff I liked about this episode. And it actually kind of progressed a little bit. And it wasn't 47 minutes of credits. It was 3.5 minutes of credits. I like that. Thank you. We actually got some more episode. And it's not all flashback. We get a storyline here.
I actually like the flashbacks better at this point.
No. Keep the flashback a separate story than the regular story is. The bottom is in a separate story, because otherwise you have two stories in once. Well, we're finally getting up to the point because you see the droids from the Clone Wars, the head droid, and you see what's the name walking with the droids in the background. So you're getting close to the timeline there.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, wait till I get to stuff I didn't like.
Okay. What did I like? The expansion of the universe. We didn't, and I think Jason said a little bit about the transport vehicles. The transport vehicles are very nice to bring back into this because we saw a little bit of it in Solo. We saw a little bit of it in Rogue One. But we saw it in the Clone Wars. It's obviously not everybody has their own ship. You always hear about it. You hear Luke say, for that cost, we could get our own ship and other things like that. It's obvious that only certain people have their own ships, and other people either have to take transports, or they might fly a ship, but it isn't theirs to just go anywhere they want. So I like that they kind of brought that into this. It helps to reinforce the universe we're working with here. I like that they're bringing back the syndicates and the different things like that, because that was kind of the Solo thing. That was to bring in these different factions and these different crime families and these crime syndicates and stuff like that. That was also brought in a little bit in the Clone Wars. Rebels, I think, had a little bit of it, and Bad Batch is supposed to have some of it. So again, tying these underlying second-tier stories to the Skywalker story is nice, because what we're doing is we're not really bringing up the Skywalker stuff. This is very good, because here's the thing. You and I both know that even though there's a president of the United States and crap goes on in the United States or crap goes up in Canada, when we go overseas, most people aren't worried about what's going on over here. They don't listen to what's going on, or the government doesn't allow them to hear it. So if Luke's running around, or if there's Jedi in the galaxy or anything like that, not everybody's going to know, or not everybody's going to know everything that's going on. So when you watch the Skywalker saga, it's separate from everyday life, and that's what these different series and these different movies have done. They're showing us the other life in this universe, again, reinforcing everything. So I really do like that. I like that he's getting more people into the palace. This looks very sparse here, and I know there's reasons for that. And there's a lot of things there that I like that they're doing. They're getting more people. I hope they add more people in the next one. I'm just not sure how they're going to do it. What else? I like the Rancor. I like having a Rancor in that pit. And I know Danny Trejo is Danny Trejo is going to get used in some way that's going to be pretty kick-ass. Danny Trejo doesn't take these parts. I mean, listen, he was kick-ass in Spy Kids. In fact, the really kick-ass part about Spy Kids is his name is Machete in Spy Kids.
101 uses.
Yeah, but no, this is the real trick. And I remember when I first found this out after watching Spy Kids. That machete is the same machete that's in all the Grindhouse films. That is the same character. And that's confirmed by Robert Rodriguez and from the Pulp Fiction. Tarantino, yeah. That is confirmed by both of them that his character machete is the same machete from Spy Kids. So it again, this type of stuff's really fucking hilarious. But I love Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo is a great guy. What else?
Still want to try to go to Trejo Tacos in
I think really I see what they're trying to do. I think that's what I like a lot. I see what they're trying to do, the expansion of the universe. It just, in the next section, I'll get to how they're missing the mark in so many different ways that if they fix just a few things, they might actually help themselves. But again, that's not necessarily I didn't like or anything. It's more like, I got an issue with it. So let's go on to that next. Let's talk about things we didn't like, had issues with, whatever, and we'll go back around the back way, and we'll start with Elihu in this case. Elihu, tell everybody what you didn't like.
Okay, let me take a deep breath here. Sorry. Patsy. I hate social media for this episode because Tuesday night I use Twitter mainly, and there are some certain words you can ban on Twitter, or you can mute on Twitter temporarily. I actually have a list here. I'm going to read them for you. The words I've muted on Twitter: Star Wars, Wars, Boba Fett, Twins, Wookie, Huts, Mandalorian, and Tatooine. I go on Twitter and I see Machete trending left and right. I'm like, oh, cool, Machete's getting his own movie, Danny Trejo. What's the first image? What's the first thing I see? Danny Trejo, Machete can handle a Rancor with an image of him in a Rancor. I'm like, gee, thank you for spoiling a cameo. What's bad as LDG saying for Luke, who's back? I didn't like the part when he was describing all those cyborgs. I'm like, wait a minute, he's being very generous. A lot of people use cyborg implants like Fennec Shand, the one he was talking to. Luke, hello. I did like the obvious, the Bantha callbacks, but instead of having elephants with a lot of fans, they had an elephant with a green screen. You could tell it was obviously a green screen with an elephant underneath the costume. I'm like, come on. You guys got the cinematography? No. I watched carefully on this. I watched that scene once. I watched the Speed Raider, the little town chasing scene 3 times. And especially because it looked like, you can obviously see it's 1980s graphics, special effects. You can see the green screen where they're jumping over the ramp. You can see the ones stopping and turning. You can obviously see it's a green screen. A great special effects artist will actually blend it in so you can't even tell.
I wasn't talking about the whole thing, though.
Oh, well. I mean, this is why we enjoy Star Wars, because you can't even tell it's on a green screen. You can actually believe you're actually there in the setting itself. You can't actually tell. It's like watching the original Dune, see them in a desert in front of a matte painting with a crack in it. I'm like, okay. What else? That painting by Ralph McCoy, I don't know why they omitted Luke. I love that painting. Let's see, what else? Yeah, the whole Speeder race did remind me Back to the Future with the in-crash thing with Biff. Yeah, I hated that. I'm like, come on.
I have to say, though, briefly. I did like that his speeder was like a big old caddy, like the front end of a big old 60s.
They started adding that a little bit in Clone Wars again. On Coruscant, they started showing different things like that, and then heavily different models in Solo. But the models were in Star Wars canon because when they released the compendium of vehicles, there were multiple different types of speeders. But no,
Sorry,
I like
go
the
on,
caddy
Eli.
idea too. Yeah,
Okay.
Go ahead.
I did not like the fact that the twins gave up. I'll put this in quotes. Gave up so easily because they never actually admitted defeat. They were trying to reclaim the territory, but they just gave up because they're afraid of somebody else going to attack.
They gave up.
Yeah, I know. That's why I put it in quotes. Gave up because they never relinquished control of Jabba's territory. They never admitted. They just said, "Yeah, we're getting out of it. You should do the same thing too." Yeah. I mean, they're conniving Hutts. They're a clan. This is what they do. And Fett's just trying to learn this thing about the Hutts and interior thing because it's all focused on family. Remember, you got to deal with family. And I think the mayor's just a puppet for the Pikes, because they keep on mentioning water world, water this, water reference, and the Pikes are basically a water race, a water fish people. Come on, they have to do something with water and fish. Maybe trying to find some kind of hidden well or something, or hidden water source that they control that nobody else knows about. Because water is the deal. Water is the main dealing thing for the Tatooine right now because the planet dried up. Yeah, I agree, Chris. They need to do something with the factions and the family members and the gang stuff. Even I can't talk right now. Sorry, but you know what I'm talking about, Chris. And
Anything else? Yeah. No, yeah, well, kind of, whatever. I have to do some of this stuff to keep things going. Anyways, no. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's one other thing. The fight with the Wookiee. You know how strong a Wookiee is? You get a right hook by a Wookiee, you're going to have a broken jaw. Or knocked unconscious. What the hell? I'm like, what the hell? He got a full-on right hook and he's still conscious and walking around. I'm like, what? I thought that was ridiculous. That was stupid. Other than that, it was a kick-ass fight, but it was going one-on-one, but that's my rant.
Did you just say it was a kick-ass fight? Other than that?
No, it wasn't a kick-ass fight. They were doing a one-on-one again. I'm like, yeah, one-on-one again. I'm like, come on.
My issue, and I'll just say this now because there's only one part that I'm really going to focus on in this whole thing, and my only thing about the Wookiee fight is, listen, it's heavily implied in Star Wars or Episode 4, New Hope, for those youngins out there that don't realize I will not call it that because it is Star Wars. Wookiees will rip your arms out of their sockets. Why would he even be fighting? It just like as soon as he's like bear hugging, no, he'd take his arms and go like, pop, done, walk away. It's a stupid idea to have this Wookiee fight hand-to-hand combat. Now, firing at each other, other things like that. But once he got his hands on him, I do have an answer for that possibly, but okay, you go ahead.
Sorry, there's one other thing that I wanted to mention. Was she stupid? She's a trained killer assassin. Why would she give the enemy a weapon to go get into a locked area? She could have shot him to knock him off. Hello? But that was stupid. She knew this was no better.
I have an answer for that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So number one, things you didn't like.
Well, yeah, the whole Black Chrysanthemum versus Boba fight was a complete wreck fest, to put it mildly. I mean, why the hell is he even yanking him out of the damn sleep tank anyway? Just kill him inside the damn tank, you know? I mean, you have one job to kill somebody. You can't even get that right. So, they basically, they made him specifically power up his armor and whatever the hell else, his fists and whatever else. But that had basically no effect on these kids. You know, I mean, what's the use of powering up if you ain't gonna beat somebody down? You know, so yeah, yeah. You had a bunch of goober kids able to handle supposedly the baddest ass Wookiee out there in the galaxy. So yeah, yeah, what a mess. Is about as nicely as I can put it. And then yeah, don't even get me started on the goofy speeder bike chase. Which if it was any slower, it would have taken probably could have stretched out this episode to an hour instead of 30 minutes. But but yeah, but you got have four goofy kids chasing down the goober mayor, who has a freaking erection going on his ears in the first place. If you blow it up, so yeah, yeah. And then Boba all of a sudden comes in at the very end. You can't have him above shooting at the guy and making him swerve and stuff like this. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you might as well, and based on one scene of this, you might as well just call this the cook of Boba Fett, because he has a nice spread at least going on inside of his place, you know. So obviously the cook of Boba Fett is better than the book of Boba Fett right now. You know, and then yeah, why? Yeah, and then Fennec, who has a robot stomach, has a big
Appetite.
yeah appetite for
Yeah.
I guess having a robot stomach, but okay. I guess I'll let that go. Maybe her robot needs lots of food or something.
Obviously, you've never seen the Eddie Murphy movie.
Yeah. Let's see what else was all messed up. Besides everything, but oh yeah, and then don't get me started on Boba. Basically, almost wet kissing the damn Rancor. And saying, "Oh, I can't wait to ride you, Rancor baby." Basically, you know. I mean,
It's the same thing somebody would say to a buck. You get a new horse, like, yeah, I can't wait to ride you.
Yeah.
It's an equestrian thing, dude. Sorry.
Yeah, it's meant to make him look more badass by having him eventually ride this Rancor, obviously. Because yeah, right now we haven't gotten anything badass out of Boba Fett, pretty much in this whole thing. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean everything else was a mess, but yeah. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, I can't really say. Yeah.
Okay. Jason, what didn't you like?
Let's see where to start. Let's go all the way to the beginning. I didn't like the character, the guy who, I guess, the water farm guy who said the kids were stealing. I didn't care for his character at all. And that brought to the kids, you know, you got all these kids with these fancy bikes and all that, but they ain't got a job, but they're stealing water. So I mean, they could have made it like spice or something else more valuable. That, and then when he was talking about the Rancor, I think I was telling this on Gaspar when we was talking the other day. I said, God, I could just see this now. I figure we're gonna get one more bad episode. And I could just see the Rancor riding around like we're going to have the Seabiscuit version of Star Wars here, which I really do not want to see. Him running around with the Rancor running around like a track. So, just the episode was, I mean, I sort of like the Sand People situation, you know, when what happened, but I didn't like it. I mean, I was hoping we would have seen some kind of results from it. He was going to go after those. I guess we'll see it in the next episode maybe, but just didn't see, you know, just didn't feel it there, you know, and just everybody said the chase down was trash, the vehicles, the cinematography and that was trash. I don't know, it just was not a good episode.
Okay. Dandelion.
Yeah, it was just sort of like, I liked the show overall, but this episode was just so weak. The fight scene just seemed like so pointless. It just, and the kids, like those kids, honestly, like, oh, we can't afford water, we have to steal it, but we can afford like eye implants and like robo arms, and they were like the cleanest street urchins I've ever seen. Not just their bikes were the only shiny things, they're all like neatly dressed. It just looked so
like today's youth,
low budget. Like it just made the whole show seem so low budget, right? Like the speeder chase was just like slow and weak, and they're like scooting around and they're like, you know, the mini moped Power Rangers. Like it wasn't even like they were on like motorbikes. They're on like little, like, you know, scooters, little Vespas. Really?
Moped Power Rangers.
Right? You know, mini mighty moped Rangers. But yeah.
Mini mighty moped Rangers.
Yeah. And then the race was just weak. Just so weak, so slow, and just so like done. Like there's the potentials for, like, you know, I mean, even the pod race in like that other Star Wars movie was super, like, pretty cool looking. This was just like, you know, they might as well have been on a foot race. It would have looked cooler if they were just running around the city. Just the scene in general just seems too clean. Like it just seems too clean. It just seems like just like a soundstage. I know it is a soundstage, but it doesn't have any, like, it doesn't have any character, right? The whole setting just seems so kind of sterile and like, I don't know. It just, this episode, it just did not work for me at all. Like,
okay.
Anyway, I guess that's what I'll say.
Sorry, Dandelion, you just remembered me. I gotta do something real fast.
All right, Guy Scar, what didn't you like?
Well, first, if I'm Boba, I would fire Fennec Shand as my security person, because if a big ass Wookiee can get into your palace,
I think they're understaffed. I suspect they're understaffed.
Well,
That's
if you're a crime lord, and
I was wondering that too.
You're coming in. The first thing you do is you make sure you're staffed to protect your
like
place where, especially. But he's in the back tank, and there's nobody on watch.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Right?
The big ass doors.
Exactly. The Power Ranger bikes, Voltron bikes, M&M bikes, Smarty bikes, whatever you want to call it. I think it was out of place. I didn't like how those colors appeared in that scene. They really were vibrant. They didn't make any sense. I heard this was like a nod to George Lucas's American Graffiti movie, if I'm not mistaken. Fine, but just didn't look right.
Guys, guard the head. Like I said, the mod bikes and the headlights on the mopeds were just like the moped headlights on the speeders.
Good. I didn't like it. The Tuscan Raiders, they build them up so hyped to kill them off so quick. I kind of didn't like the fact that we didn't get any sense of, we got the symbols there. It would have been cool to see the fight. if they're doing so much flashbacks, it would have been good to see. The fight with BK. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, did it remind you of Luke Skywalker burning Uncle Owen?
Not necessarily, actually. No, I didn't. No. The part that got me was when he took out the small stick, the small to-be gaffy stick. I was wondering if that was the stick that the kid had found or something. Remember, he pulls
no,
a
it
small
wasn't.
gaffy stick.
The kid's stick was crooked. This was straight.
Yeah, his was. They did show him doing that one though.
Okay, so that was one thing. The fight with BK, I find that was completely ridiculous because you would have just killed him in the back of the tank. Why pull him out of the back of the tank? Right? And then you have him there bear hugging his knuckles, the brass knuckles with the spikes, power up, punches him in the face. There's no marks on his face. Then you get those freaking teenagers, whatever you want to call them, come in there with their little toys and knives and stuff and do absolutely nothing to him. And they lure him into where, he's stepping right in the perfectly square box where the hatch opens down, right? And then you get Fennec going in, wait a minute, and hits the switch. Where the hell was she throughout the whole thing? She just appears. And the scene that pissed me off the most, Boba Fett coming into that scene in his freaking bathrobe.
Yeah, right?
Right? It's like, would you not have taken a weapon? Unless his weapon's underneath the bathrobe, which I doubt. Because,
yeah,
Disney
right.
is taking care of right now.
This is your gun.
Those off.
This isn't fighting. This is for fun. Come on.
But Disney, he's probably not, because Disney cut those right off, right? Because that's the Boba we're getting right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So the car chase was terrible. It was slow. Sad. I thought they could do a lot better with that scene. Yeah, man, it's just they introduced us to these characters that there could have been a fight going on a lot better than that. Boba could have had his jetpack on, his flamethrower on. They could have changed the whole how BK got his scar on his face. It could have been that Boba Fett burnt it, and stuff like that. Made it more interesting, gave us more of a real fight. Get Fennec to get her hands dirty. Maybe they're going a different way. Maybe Fennec is, losing trust in him. But then again, he saved her. So apparently this is building up to something big. I'm not invested in the show. I'm still invested in it. I still like the fact we're getting something. But right now, as it stands, I will never watch the show again.
Gaska, you brought up a point. Where was she? Did she let the Wookie in?
That's like twice she's late to the fights.
Well,
man.
Yeah.
That's something, but I'll get into that too. First off, I did watch this twice because of mostly the scene I'm going to talk about. I'll get into a few other things like Fennec and all that, but I'm going to talk about the bike scene and this whole chase scene. First off, the mayor's a ridiculous concept that should have been cut and never put in this, because what you do is you speed up the situation. The Pikes are off world or whatever. You have one group of Pikes that have taken over the city and laid claim to everything, and one of them is the mayor. Cut the fucking mayor out because it's ridiculous and stupid. His fucking handler or whatever, the guy that does all his, whatever the fuck his name is. I don't give a fuck, because here's the thing. I feel like I'm growing a vagina when I hear this guy talk. It's horrible. I hate the guy. He's ridiculous. Listen, if I had one,
you got a problem with vaginas?
No,
you think you could give birth to a child?
No, I don't think he likes vaginas, so I like vaginas.
Wow. Anyways, here's the thing. Cut all that crap out. Make it a Pike. But going to some of the things here that are not understood, and this is the problem with the series. If you don't understand Star Wars, it is a pure example of why George Lucas stayed on during Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. He has said in multiple interviews that I didn't direct it, but I was there because I understood the special effects side of it. I knew how to shoot the special effects. So when we got to special effects, I said, okay, don't worry. Just give me the acting and I'll get the special effects.
Right.
The bike chase in this is a prime example of somebody who does not understand how to do action in Star Wars.
This is a very well, Rodriguez is a very well-known
He's
director
not Star
too.
Wars.
That's why
Exactly.
it just seemed like they had no budget for it.
Well, here's the thing. Rodriguez is used to dirty, gritty, nasty movie effects. Hard and fast. His action is blow up things, and while it's blowing up, add a little action going off to the sides and stuff so it doesn't hurt him. This was very particular, and there's several things he messed up. One, when you don't understand this, and Anzo said, blur the background. First and easiest thing they could have done is blur the background and speed up when you're doing the side shots, speed up that background, make it look faster. Because one of the things it felt like this was clunky. It felt like I kept on feeling like it just was jerky the whole time. The second time I watched it, it wasn't as bad, but I still felt that.
It was bad, especially when they passed by the droid, right? The 3PO nod there.
Yeah.
I was like,
it was
George
way too
Costanza was
slow.
going faster in a scooter on Seinfeld than these guys were.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. This proves a point. And I don't know if you guys know this. If you've watched anything about Return of the Jedi, you know that when they walked through the Redwood Forest, that they took that, and if I remember right, for every 4 frames, they cut 3 frames out. So they were doing 1 per every 4 frames. So what you saw, even when you saw the background, they cut it out so it was faster than the people they were filming on the green screen. This gave the effect of very, very fast. They're not doing that. The other thing is he focuses in, and when they focus, they're following the bikes and the car, so it looks like it's standing still. What they normally did with these shots is watch them from a distance and follow them really quick, and then add in that you have to have cuts into this. Boba Fett shows up at the end. Some people say it makes no sense. It does make sense, but the thing is if he's got his jetpack going, the second he takes off, you show him taking off, you show him observing the chase from up above, which gives it another shot that you can show it. This being all digital can make it look a lot quicker. Then you add another shot where Fennec is chasing the whole chase on like rooftops, doing the parkour stuff. If you have multiple different things going, multiple different speeds of action going, you can change the whole speed. There's lots of things they didn't understand about how to shoot Star Wars in this. So if you do that, what's going on, Danny? Good to see you. So if you do that, you get a much better shot. And it just felt so slow and lethargic. Let's talk about the Cyberpunk 2077 gang here. There's no other way to put it. This was put in because of Cyberpunk 77. I'm going to tell you right now. Because Cyberpunk happened between Mandalorian and this. They saw it. They liked it. It's not like it isn't Star Wars. You can add this into Star Wars. But you need some context. This is something we've never seen before in Star Wars. They should have said something. Or give us a scene where we find out why. But with that said...
It's the Borg. Star Trek has been influenced.
Okay, yeah, but still. With that said, they're stealing water. But Boba Fett comes up on them and finds out that the guy is overpricing the water. And there is some, when you first watch it the first time, you're sitting there going like, okay, all right, great. And then they say they don't have a job. And okay, Boba says, well, you're working for me now. Okay, great. That's really good. Boba's fighting a good fight there, okay? Tells the guy to cut his prices, gives him some money and says, he's being diplomatic, all this good stuff, right? There's lots of good stuff there. Cut it in half, though, and realize these kids have millions, thousands of credits worth of fucking attachments and shit. And even the guy later on, when he says something about his eye, says, I paid good money for this eye. And it's like, wait a minute. You paid good money. From what? You said you don't work. Where did the money come from? So ultimately, these guys are as bad as the water guy said they were.
Yep.
But that doesn't matter now because they're doing the right thing by being with Boba. It's like it's a head scratcher. It's like you're setting them up to be apathetic to them because this young group of kids is is without a job and they're getting overpriced on water because it costs them a month's wage for a week's worth of water, blah, 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 blah. But nobody's asking where they're getting the money for these parts, and it's perfectly fine. It's let's be in Cuba bikes. This is very reminiscent. If you've ever seen pictures of Cuba or whatnot, they're all 1950s cars there. They're all bright and shiny. People take damn good care of those cars because they can't get any new cars there. But everything in the background is very muted and stuff. So it's like, what are we trying to do? Make this a Cuban gang? Is that what we're trying to do now? I see a lot of things here. That you see, Tatooine was designed for two things. And Lucas has said this several times. You either wanted to get the fuck off the rock, or you were there to hide, do something wrong. You were a gangster in transit. But nobody ever wanted to stand out. These people, it's like, let's be inconspicuous. Let's be an inconspicuous, speeder biker gang. And what happens? They paint everything really bright and all that. It's like, what? It makes no sense. And even Luke, Luke wanted to get off the planet. He said, if there's a bright center of the universe, you're in the planet that is farthest from, because he's trying to make a point that nobody comes out there. The Outer Rim, even in Mandalorian, they set it up that this is the outside of everything. Even when the Empire was in charge, they had a hard time keeping control of it. They have to do better on understanding what Star Wars is. Now, can they answer some of this stuff? Sure they can. But they need to come up with a better way of doing these things. Let's talk about Fennec Shand and the fight. The whole fucking fight, it wasn't like absolutely horrible. It's just, come on. It's a Wookiee. Hand-to-hand combat shouldn't even be anything. They should never. And yeah, I know he gets shot. He gets the knife thrown at him. All this different stuff when the kids are up there. But Fennec Shand. Okay, so if she's a double agent or whatever, which maybe she does work for the Hutts or something. Maybe that's who she was with originally, and they sent her after the Mandalorian, and we're just wrapping it back around into this. Maybe.
Probably the bikes.
Because here's the thing. It makes some sense that that's what they're going for, because she's there, and then she's not there, and then things happen. And then when she came in, notice that the guy with the eye has a blaster pointing right at Chrysanthemum or whatever his name was, had it pointed right at him and was going to shoot him.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, wait, throws her knife and knocks him in, which would give you an idea that she didn't want to kill him. She just wanted to capture him, which leads to believe that she's trying to, there's something there. I don't think she's a double agent. It makes no sense. Boba found her in the desert, left for dead, and saved her. No matter what, in Star Wars universe, that typically leads to you being loyal to that person. But we'll see. Yeah, those are some of my problems with this. I won't say that it's a deal breaker with the show. It just, they have to understand what they're working with. And if you don't understand it, you got to find somebody. This is when you get, it makes me question how much Filoni and Favreau are actually tied to this, because I would have thought that if you're editing or if you're part of this group, that if you had seen that bike chase, Favreau or Filoni probably would have looked at it and said, "Oh, wait, whoa, this is really weird looking. What's wrong with this? What'd you do to it?"
That's CGI.
I would have thought that they would have stopped it. So I don't think they're as tied to this as we think they are, because Rodriguez has been in charge of all three, right?
Mm-hmm.
So far.
So it's Favreau.
Oh no, the last two, I think. The last two.
The Favreau's been in charge of all three routes.
Another thing.
Okay.
Another thing. So Lucas went back, and when he redid the trilogy, or did the special editions for the trilogy, he specifically stated some things about Mos Eisley. He said, I wanted it to look like a lived-in city. And when it first came out, there were too few people. There was too few stuff going on. So he added some scenes. He added lots of people using CGI and other things in it. to make it feel more lived in. Well, Mos Eisley is more like, let's say, a suburb compared to what Mos Espa is. Mos Espa is like the city. It's a big city compared to Mos Eisley. So this one, when they go into it, it looks so sparse in population. I know it's COVID and all, but all you do is you use CGI, you get 10 people on front of a green screen, you flip them a few times in different directions, put them in different places, have them do a wardrobe change it again, flip them a few more times, and you can have more people out. It really was apparent in the transport yard, where when you saw people walking, it just looked like, okay, it looked like you were on the set and they were going like, okay, group 1, go. Okay, group 2, go. Group 3, come back this way. Come on. And it just looked like
they're done that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what it looked like. It just looked so, it needed to be better.
Did you notice the prop error that during the speeder chase?
Which one?
There's an overhead shot and you see the back of the prop wall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's where the Gene guy hangs out.
Yeah. Okay. So got through that, guys. First off, I want to thank everybody that's been in the chat during this stream. Thank you, Epsilon Minus, Shellback, Danny. I saw lovely Sherry in there. Go through here and see who else.
Oh, Geiscar.
Yeah, Geiscar. Hey, he's an all right guy. We'll talk about that off camera though. Because
okay.
Well, it depends on the day.
It does. Hakimi. But all you guys that have been in the chat, thank you very much for keeping this going.
Marvelous.
Shellback.
Yeah. We also have, Shellback's there. We have 23 votes in our poll. We'll get to that here in a minute. Let's go around. Geiscar first. Final thoughts, predictions, and
grade.
Grade, yeah.
Final thoughts. Sucked. Predictions. Pray for better. Grade. C-.
Okay. Dandelion.
I'm also going to go with a C-. Final thoughts, just unfortunate episode. Like, it could have been so good, but it just seemed so low budget. And just didn't, Like, punt those kids, just take them out into the desert and leave them there. And then, see what happens. As far as going, I'm sure we'll get another flashback of him going and destroying the cruiser, the biker gang. Because,
Don't be surprised if they come out with a spin-off series of the
biker gang.
Biker gang. Yeah.
Not the biker. I mean the other biker gang, the more legit biker gang, the ones that actually seem like a biker gang, not the mini mighty moped rangers. Other predictions? Yeah, I don't know. More of the same, hopefully better.
All right.
That's it.
And Shellback says D- to F. Okay. Let's go down to Jason. Jason. Predictions, grades, all that.
Very disappointed on this episode. Haven't lost hope yet, and I know we're probably going to see another bad episode, so they're going to put us down again. But I have faith that we'll conclude with a decent ending. Hopefully, get some, better scenes and stuff. But grade wise, a D on this episode.
Okay. Next up, number 1.
Grade F for filler, because that's basically all this was filler. Hate to say it, but it was. I don't know why I get the weird feeling that they're kind of, because of the female Tuscan Raider
The warrior.
still being alive and everything, because they showed everybody dead except for her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That this is it's sad. It's very similar in a way, and maybe they're going with this, maybe never or whatever. but it's and basically flipping it from what they did in the EU, but Darth Krayt, who is A. Sherrod Het, was born from a male Tuscan and a female human, and I get the feeling that they're kind of flipping it for if they're gonna bring Darth Krayt into this, which I don't think they are, but it wouldn't surprise me, because that's a very specific Jedi who turns obviously bad, that was raised by Tuscans and or that had a Tuscan male parent and a female human parent, but I feel like they're flipping if they bring Darth Krayt into this, his origin to be from this female because she's badass, and whoever. Yeah, I'm just throwing that out there, in case it somehow weirdly happens or something. And then, I mean, it has to get better, I hope. I mean, oh my God. I mean, with the people who are supposed to be coming into it, from Cad Bane and Mayfield and, Cobb Vanth and, maybe they'll end it with Han and Luke and Leia in one scene like we should have gotten. That's the only way to me to salvage this now. If we get something like that to end it. But yeah, it's so yeah, I guess we'll have to see what, because I imagine even though they showed it in the Mandalorian of how he got his armor back, eventually they're gonna have to re-show us that again, unfortunately,
or something about it.
Yeah, I mean they'll obviously shorten it up, but I think they're gonna at least show that somehow in this. Yeah, plus Cobb Vanth and whatever. But yeah, I guess we'll see.
Okay, and what was your grade again?
F.
Yeah, okay. Very good. Elihu.
I wanted to point out real fast that Danny, you're wrong. Number one, talk longer than Chris this time. Look at the chat.
Part of this is to listen. I focused on one part of it to explain why these shows need help. It's because they're lacking knowledge of basic Star Wars physics and a lot of other things like that. So, anyways, go ahead.
Okay, I don't bother listening to this. We're supposed to see this person in this show. We're supposed to see this person in this show. We're supposed to get this person in this movie. I don't listen to that because if that doesn't happen, I get disappointed. Or if it does happen, I'm like, gee, thanks for spoiling the shit out of it. So I just paid no attention to that because I've been hearing stuff like, yeah, we're going to get Tarkin in this. We're going to give this person this. Like, okay, is it confirmed? Stop spreading rumors. Stop spreading Mephisto shit. This is what is making Star Wars bad. You guys are spreading rumors about stuff, getting people's expectations up, and when it doesn't happen, we got Mephisto'd. We got ODG'd. This show, I actually like this episode, but there's some good points and bad points to this one. So I'm going to have to give it an overall flat-out C.
Okay. All right. Very good. So, yeah, like I said, this isn't unsalvageable, as some people think.
Sorry.
Well, no, that's very true, Resolute.
Yeah, I know.
You're absolutely right. If there's one thing I am known for in this group is that I well, not just me, everybody loves my voice. I just don't like to tell it because the ego comes out and all hell breaks loose. And then Dandelion Fluff leaves and all that crazy stuff. I didn't hate the episode. It needs a lot of help. There's things that it needs to get fixed in it. And it is salvageable.
It was sort of like a high school production of Star Wars.
I totally agree with that. But I have been riding this fence of C+, B-. Actually, I think I went C+ last week. I went B- the first one. I'm going to stick with C+ because I like what they're trying to do in parts of this, bringing the syndicates in, showing more of the universe, things like that. If they had somebody, hint, hint, wink, wink, George, if you're watching, just tell Kennedy to fuck off and just help these guys out. Because you know how to shoot the whole special effects. If they had somebody that could help with the special effects of this, it's great. Where the fuck is Slave One also? I've been wondering the whole time. He was flying Slave One. Slave One, where are you?
Not called the Slave One anymore. That's
I don't give a fucking Slave One.
Yes,
Slave One. Fuck them.
Only Lego changed the name.
Bullshit. Fuck that.
Only Lego changed the name of the ship. That's it.
Because here's the thing: if they're pulling stuff from the EU and they double down and they basically say the first one was destroyed, here's the thing: Slave One, Slave Two. There was two of them. Slave One, if I remember right, was his father's, and then when it got destroyed in the EU, I think he got Slave Two, which is basically the same type of ship. Blah blah blah. Anyways,
they're gonna rename it.
Maybe we'll find that out.
I know it's Fire Spray.
Yeah,
it's
Fire Spray. Fire Spray.
But it's not. Listen, that's one thing where us old timers, as they would call us, are going to stick to it. It's going to always be Slave One, and that's just. Listen, it's a technical computer term, people. It's not about what you think it's about. Don't personify your problems with everything in life on this damn ship. Anyways, C+ is what I'm going to go with. The one thing I do not want to see, really, but I know we're going to get is the Giddy Up Rain Corps. They basically, he says he's going to ride it. He's going to ride it. It's going to happen in the last episode. I know in the holiday special, I can't remember what the beast was. That's the beast 10 times this size that they were talking about. I'm not a big fan of when I'm not a big fan of the holiday special because my friend John Celestri did the animation for that. I do love that. In fact, I have a hand-drawn pencil sketch from him of Boba Fett, so I love that. But I gotta say,
like a banta.
But this show is not unsalvageable, and there are good aspects to it. They just need to get better with their Star Wars physics and things like that, because that fight scene really, it felt like I was watching a silent movie with like the Keystone Cops. I mean, like all that shit. It's really weird. Anyways, guys, we're gonna go around one time really quick. Tell me about your channel, about yourself, whatever. Let's start down to Elihu. Go first. Tell everybody about yourself, please.
Well, I'm 5'11". I like long walks on the beach. Romantic movies, like to cuddle from the fireplace. And every Wednesday, you can catch me on my YouTube channel we call What's Up with the Universe at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. You know, I talk astrophysics, astronomy, science, all that classy, sexy stuff that you look up at night and go, what the fuck is that? Well, that's what you can find me, so, yeah.
Oh, one other thing. I did want to put this up before I end it. We had a poll. We had how many people? Let's see here. It's going to finish it really quick. Come on. Show it to me. Come on. There we go. Did you enjoy this episode of the Book of Boba Fett? We had 23 votes. 60% said yes. 39% said no. Where the other 1% went, I have no clue. But there you go. So I don't know. Next up, number one. Tell everybody about yourself, please.
Yeah, number one, catch me on my channel. Number one, like I said, once get over being sick, get back to streaming.
Well, number one, it's good that you came. I'm glad you came. Thank you. I hope you get better. I really do. Stay safe and just know we're pulling for you, man. Up next, Jason Lee, the Jason Lee Tucker Statement in the Middle Taco Show. Tell them about yourself, please.
What's going on? I'm Jason Lee Tucker. Jason Lee Tucker Statement. This is my channel. Just popped over 200 last week, so shooting for the stars. Hey, little by little. Talk about wrestling, pop culture, different shows on there. Also on Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, I'm over on Basco's show, The Hangout. So check that out this coming Wednesday, every Wednesday, 8 o'clock. So,
I love you, bro. Thank you for that.
Awesome show, man. Awesome. And Chris, I appreciate, brother, letting me come on tonight. Awesome.
Absolutely. I said it the last time that what I really like, and I think Danny started doing the double stream thing. I like it because I get more people on. It's a little more time for us all to talk. But normally, we get different opinions and views on the show. This one kind of just it shot itself in the foot and deserved everything we're jumping on it for. So this is one of those ones where I think everybody who was on today on the first group and this group was in consensus that they needed help on this one. All right, up next, Dandelion. Tell everybody about yourself, please.
Buff, mostly hanging out in chats. The name of the planet that I couldn't remember was Dathomir.
Oh yeah.
Where the
witches of Dathomir. Yeah.
Yeah, where the Rancors come from.
Yeah, they said.
And they keep them as pets.
Yeah, and it was very cool that they did bring that up. I did give that credit. The Rancor stuff. I'm happy with the Rancor stuff. I thought it was very good. I know the whole lovey-dovey between Boba and him.
Well, it's supposed to be that the Rancor is a reflection of Boba Fett, right? Like they're supposed to be bonded and.
But I mean, like I said,
there's some of the meaningful stuff. It's kind of heavy-handed. I mentioned last week. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't really have anything to promote or anything. I just show up because people have to. I will not be here next week because I'm not going to be in my house next week, and I have to get ready to go on holidays next Sunday.
I'm sorry about that. I know it's really stressful.
And apparently, that trailer I was looking at, it sold. So. It was on the market for 90 days, and it sold yesterday.
I don't know what you guys are putting in the water up there when it comes to the fucking real estate, but Jesus
They're
Christ,
insane. Stupid.
The prices you've told me,
almost makes me want to move back to Montreal. It was cheaper there. Probably not.
I was about to say that.
You're gonna be in a van down the river now, huh?
Everything was cheaper.
It's still more affordable than the rest of the country.
Well, it's true.
Parts of the West.
But thank you for being here as usual. We'll miss you next week, and maybe you can just send me a quick synopsis of what you thought if you watch it.
Probably not, but sure.
Okay, that's fine.
I think I'm going to be stressed out this week and not really focus on it.
And we're thinking of you, and sorry.
Thoughts don't help, but thank you.
I know it doesn't. I don't know
what else I can say. Sort
of coming out there with Guy Scar and a few other people with wood and other things,
winning lottery tickets.
And building a new place for you that all of you can live in would be something, I guess.
Khaos Studio Apartments.
Everybody grab all your cardboard boxes and ship them to.
Yeah, pretty much. Thanks.
Wow.
I have bubble wrap, but what do you wrap bubble wrap in the ship?
Bubble wrap.
I have loads of bubble wrap.
Jeez.
All right. Guy Scar, tell everybody about yourself, please.
Yeah, great wallpaper.
What is up, mi gente? You can find me on my channel, The Basco Scenario, and also I'm now on Odyssey as well, so check that out. Subscribe there if you haven't. You can catch my show, The Hangout, every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, where Jason Lee Tucker is on, as well as Comic Chat, gaming here and there, and more stuff to come. So stay tuned.
I am Chris Knight, Real Review 3000, my channel. This week, we're going to get back to the Gospel according to Chris on Monday. That's tomorrow, if you didn't know. 7 p.m., so check that out. Also, 3 shows on Chaos Central here during the week. Monday, the Chaotic Conversation. Tuesday, the Chaos List. And Wednesday is the Rule of 3. All at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Really simple. Come on one of those 3 days. You're going to see a show. We suggest you come to all 3 because they're all a little different and have all sorts of different stuff on them. Wednesday, I will try to be there again. Guy Scar had fun this past week, even though I didn't see this episode yet.
Yeah, you got to do your homework, man.
What are you talking about? I was able to in 5 seconds. I read the synopsis and got about as much out of it as I did watching.
Shit, you read a 5-minute synopsis and you spoke for like a half an hour. So I don't know how you.
Have you not figured out that
Did you ever think of taking up politics?
Why do you think? Why do you think I have the rumble? Because I wouldn't expect anybody to talk shit for 3 minutes if I couldn't. There you go.
Hey, I try to talk shit for 3 minutes, and well, I've been doing it for a long time. So, hey.
All right. Anyways, yeah. So Real Review 3000, Gospel According to Chris tomorrow, the 3 Chaos shows. Sundays, I also do the weekly wrap up on my channel. This right now during this time, it's at 4 p.m. Eastern time instead of 5 p.m. And then these 2 shows on every Sunday, 7:30 and 9:30. Check out both groups. Lots of different stuff to be said. And with that said, guys, great discussion. I really appreciate all of you guys. I really appreciate everybody in the chat, even those people like Hoster who do not support this stuff, showing support to our channel.
That's
really
awesome.
Appreciate that.
That's awesome you pointed that out because
I do not ever expect anybody to like this stuff. I don't ever expect anybody to necessarily watch it. Coming here and supporting channels like all of ours and all the people out here. That's what this is about. It's not about what we're talking about all the time. It's just coming in and supporting us. So I really
100%.
appreciate that from all you guys.
Absolutely.
With that said,
I'm glad you brought that out.
I'm sure you really appreciate the score in the game too.
Yeah, I've just been kind of keeping an eye on that. It went
35-7.
It went 7-0 to 35-7. There's 35 unanswered points. So Anzo, if you're watching, when your Pittsburgh Steelers win against us and go against the Bills next week, I will be in full support of you guys from whatever couch you're playing your game from. Anyways, and I'm probably speaking way too soon.
What about those Cowboys?
Oh, God, yeah. Okay, anyways.
49ers kicked their ass. You know that.
Thank you for watching. Thank you to my lovely panelists here. I appreciate it very much, guys. Everybody, peace.
Please subscribe and get notified.